Welcome to NNN News, the only unbiased, unfiltered, unplugged news podcast. This bi-weekly podcast will cover current events as well as a deep dive into more obscure topics. As always, I'm joined by my friend and co-host, Neville Croft.
This podcast should show raw, real and evidence that, well, I'm better off sorry.
Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, as long as we're still here. This week's guest has been on the show before, so we're going to be just doing something a little different. We have the lovable Univarseman for the first part of the show, and a little later in the show, we're going to get some legal advice from our good friend, lawyer Andy. But without further ado, I actually have a little bit of an ad spot to read here. I'd like to thank Rex on the Discord server for providing us with this opportunity to advertise. They have over there their own Discord server, Friends of Memes, and he wrote me up a little thing to read here. Hello everyone, it's Norm, here to tell you about a new and upcoming organization called Friends of Memes. The Friends of Memes is an organization trying to get rid of all the toxic and hateful things in meme culture. Right now they have a Discord server and a YouTube channel and a Twitter account. All will be linked down below. So right now we're going to show you their server. You have to get an idea about what this organization is about. The first thing that they are always hiring new people, so you don't need to worry about jobs being full. The next thing is helped by my good friend Raymond Bowman. That way you know you are in a safe place in a journalist-approved server. The next thing is the reason you would be joining this server, the memes. They have 3 meme channels. One is just for everyone's meme, the next one is for approved memes, and the last one is for unfunny memes. The last thing is the mods and admins are really respectful to you unless you are a troll or a bigot or some kind. But yeah, the admins are very respectful and funny and just overall good people. So anyway, that is going to be it for me today. Please consider joining them. So anyway, goodbye and meme well. Thank you, Rex, for that ad spot. Without further ado, we're going to break into the recent news with Univarseman. I'll see you guys there.
Be back. As you can
Great
see,
to have you back, Uni.
I've donated some of my body parts to kind of help out with getting Biden elected.
Help to the Joe Biden campaign.
Yeah, so explain this to me. You're saying that you gave up an arm and a leg like during the Biden campaign. I hear you were fighting the entire time, basically, for Biden to get elected. How does it feel now that he's won?
It feels great. I mean, anyone who feels that we need to investigate stuff like that is just they're just sore losers.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, like we
crazy people.
Biden is
the conspiracy theorists.
It's one of those things where Biden won so much that it's like it's past the point where it needs to be investigated. This is just past scrutiny. But you know what isn't past scrutiny? Weird alien monoliths. You guys have heard about this, right? Recently, they've been discovered sort of throughout the country. These very large alien monoliths. This one particularly is, in a recent one in California. Although they also appeared in Utah and in other places. And one of the things is when these get toppled to the ground, the people who take them down are, always in robes and always chanting. Do you guys think that this could have something to do with some kind of end times or anything?
No, I actually think it probably is a good sign for the glorious age of knowledge and wisdom and trusting the science coming.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, because as a thing, the monolith is sort of standing for science, right?
Wait, so you say they're wearing robes? They're not wearing KKK robes, but
no, they're like I think they're like dark robes. We haven't been able to get much information. I mean, they haven't been able to. It's odd. You think that somebody would be able to get video of this, given that we live in the age of 2020 and everybody has a supercomputer in their pocket, but no one's caught any video of these being constructed. The problem is nobody knows where they're going to show up. One day it's Italy and one day it's Utah, right? I don't know. I think that there might be something spiritual happening here. I think you might be onto something here about this. This definitely has ties to Joe Biden's victory. Like, this isn't a coincidence that this is happening, just days after Joe Biden won the election. We start seeing this stuff pop up. This isn't
maybe they're trying to build a statue of Joe Biden, but everyone keeps disrupting their work, so have to take it down and move somewhere else so they can build in peace.
That's interesting. Do you guys remember the Shia LaBeouf thing? the "We Will Not Divide Us" that happened after the last election.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to that several times to protest.
I think that this is in a powerful way. Like, well, that was a statement of like, he won't divide us. The pillar, the monolith, is about Biden's unity. I mean, what does the word monolith mean? Except one greater thing that we can look to, and that's Joe Biden.
We are all one with Biden.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is I think the monolith might be here to represent Joe Biden, and it might mean something. I mean, I think it might have some deep meaning that we need to consider here.
I mean, is that what that means? I thought monolith meant one lith.
Yeah, one lith, but a lith is like a really big, cool dude, I think, as far as I'm aware. I'm not sure on the etymology of that. We'll have to look that up in post and see if I'm right there, but I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure here. And this is, if this isn't some sort of sign from a great spiritual being about Joe Biden, it has to be illegal art. I mean, it's like one of those two things.
Yeah. I don't really see that being illegal art, though, because I don't see MAGA 2020 on it at all, or anything like that. So
I mean,
it's
also
gotta be sanctioned.
is it black, this monolith?
It's more silver. It's reflective. It's reflective. It's what
Okay.
I think it's definitely something where, it clearly has a very liberal aura to it. A very democratic aura to it, and I think that that democratic aura is what's making it not illegal.
Now, I do feel conflicted on it, though, because silver is symbolic of a woman, but like the woman. But then you've got this monolith being a phallic symbol, which that part highly offends me.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't really considered the whole phallic nature of the construction of a monolith. Could perhaps on the other side of the earth they construct some sort of a pit, like a silver pit or something?
That
So
would
I
be
wasn't
wonderful.
offended, but I am now.
Like we could get what about like a cave or something? So it's like you get let out of this cave, for some vaginal symbolism, a la.
You'd have to move the phallic structures away, though.
Yeah, get rid of
Yeah,
get rid of the phallic structures. Get kind of Keefe on it. Get kind of Georgia Keefe on it, or whatever her name is. In a similar vein here, we're getting a lot of censorship of art. And this is a specific case here where the Australian government, which is actually pretty well known for censorship, is censoring a famous sort of Chinese official art piece. This was posted by Chinese officials, Li Zhen Zhao, and I think this is a beautiful piece of art, and I don't know why they're choosing to censor this.
Why would you censor China in the first place? I mean, China does nothing but good for humanity.
Yeah,
so I just don't understand.
Yeah, it's really weird to me that this is a classic example of Western censorship. It seems like people don't want to draw attention to this, but social media companies are constantly censoring left-wing liberal ideas. They're always giving a platform to all these Republicans, but they're not leaving room for beautiful artwork such as this, such as "Don't be afraid, we're coming to bring you peace." I mean, it's a beautiful piece of art. It's obvious.
I couldn't agree more.
It's a composite photo, right? To do a little artist background here. It's a composite photo we're looking at here of looks to be an Australian soldier. I don't really know the rest, but it's an interesting point for sure. And I really think that we shouldn't be suppressing art, especially Chinese art like this.
I couldn't agree more. I think we should actually let China just take control of everything. In fact, once I'm done learning Norwegian so that I can tell these white supremacists in their own language how to be politically correct, I plan on learning Mandarin.
Yeah.
Just so that I can fit in better.
Well, I've always said Mandarin should be taught in schools like a required course, because it by far is if you're going to learn a language, learning Chinese is basically future proofing at that point.
I completely
I
agree
started
with
learning Russian just so I could, try and understand what these Russian bots are saying online. It
Well,
didn't go very well.
it's hard because Russian uses a bunch of backwards letters. I think that was a weird
Exactly.
decision to make when they were designing the language.
But Mandarin is a journalist-approved language, so that should be much easier to learn.
Yeah, for sure. This is another interesting story out of that sort of Asian area here. We have South Korea. They're now having forced like a dating class. So South Korean students are forced to date in a government-issued class. What do you guys think about this? I think
I've heard about that, the whole state-mandated girlfriend idea. I think it's incredibly sexist.
yeah, there is definitely an incel. There's an incel tinge to the whole thing. There certainly is, of like you deserve a girlfriend or something. But at the same time, I think we need to be looking at this from a trans rights perspective. And I think as a trans person, a state-sponsored, emotional companion might not be a bad thing. We just might need to remove it from being a state-sponsored girlfriend. It could be a state-sponsored femboy or non-binary person.
Well, no, it's a person.
Femme person, yeah. Sorry, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
A state-sponsored femme person of any kind, and I think it would be fine. But I agree. I think that focusing on it being a quote-unquote girlfriend is super. That's like 2012. That's old, sexist. We need to get
Well,
with
They
2020.
could at least call it a they friend.
Yeah. What do you think, Uni?
I would actually say that harkens back to the days of slavery. Whenever, not even so much slavery, but when women didn't have rights and they weren't allowed to do anything unless their husband said that they could.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go back there.
No,
Now,
I
I
don't.
would agree that we should definitely do that to help out the trans community, and I think that'd be great.
Yeah, it's some kind of like affirmative action for trans dating. I don't think there's
like-
anything wrong with affirmative action for trans dating.
You don't see North Korea doing this.
That's true. That's true. Maybe we got to wait to see if what Kim thinks. I don't think we don't even have checking in with Kim on this show, but we really should add it. And speaking of checking in here, Nev, it's been a while. If you guys don't know, we took a week break, so this is 3 weeks from our last recording, and I haven't talked to Nev in a while. We've sort of had our own separate lives. So how's the gaming addiction going, Nev?
I've been seeing my therapist now 5 times a week, and it's getting a little better. Mainly been sticking to journalist-approved games like Tetris.
Yeah. What
So
about?
I've been
Have you heard that maybe Minecraft and a few other games might be making the journalist approved list?
Yeah, I remember the journalist-approved Minecraft server, but then obviously things went a bit tipsy on there when the fascists came on. But honestly, I think that gaming as a whole seems to be improving. We're getting a lot of progressive figures moving in there.
Yeah, well, with great people like inclusivegamers.com and and great websites like that and groups like that, we're able to really make some moves here. And gaming companies listen to us. That's my favorite part. I mean, despite the fact that we make up a very small segment of the purchasing power in the gaming community, that being as sort of us social justice warriors, despite the fact that we make up such a small purchasing percentage, we actually have a tremendous amount of power and influence in the gaming community in the way that these gaming companies create these stories. A great example of this is a game that I thought would never make the approved games list, Destiny 2. I mean, this is a classic gunplay game, very much chauvinistic, competition based. They just added in a gay character. The first confirmed gay Destiny character, and this is
Can
beautiful.
we have a round of jazz hands for
Yeah.
that?
Little throw up a couple fingies. I'm really
Sorry.
proud of this gaming community. What do you think, Univarseman? I know you play games from time to time.
It is great that they are making it more inclusive, the Destiny 2, and I feel like more games need to do this. I don't know why game developers aren't doing stuff like this for the LGBTQ community. I mean, if you look at The Last of Us 2, they won how many awards this year?
I mean, everything. They totally sweeped it. They totally sweeped.
I mean, Destiny 2's always had that progressive element. I mean, most of the main characters, I don't really remember any of them.
I think
but
they
I'm
were
pretty
black.
sure they're all like POCs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all like POCs and all that kind
And
of
women,
stuff.
they did a good job with women. Yeah, the Destiny
they
2,
did really
they
good
haven't
with
figured out. Now, I definitely think that this is gonna. Do you think this is gonna like affect the toxic community that games like this have? Because I know a lot of these online games have really toxic communities. Do you think that having a gay character just in it is actually gonna have an effect on that and make it better, or are we gonna see much change there?
I think that it's going to reach a point where obviously the fascist elements of these toxic communities may outward rebel, but it's going to reach a point where this is commonplace now.
Yeah.
So that it's going to reach where these people can't complain anymore. It's just going to become normalized.
Yeah, before the show, we were discussing a little bit about how it seems everything we're doing, everything that we feared in life is becoming commonplace. That seems to be a theme going into 2020, and I'm glad that Biden's going to finally pull us out of that. Biden's going to pull us out of this downward spiral we're going into. But we need to help him. Okay, guys? So make sure you're donating to Joe Biden still. The election's not over until Trump's out of office, guys. So keep on donating to Joe Biden. And we also need to make sure
50% of my paycheck yesterday.
That's awesome. We need to also make sure that we can't let Republicans continue to exist. We recently have this case here where this a GOP Iowa congressional candidate won by 6 votes. Republicans shouldn't be winning by 6 votes. They shouldn't be winning by any amount of votes.
I think we need to investigate that.
I think that there's some serious chance of voter fraud here. What do you think, Uni?
Yeah.
Do you think that Republicans should even still be winning in these states? People must know how bad they are by now.
That's the only way that they would be winning, would be through voter fraud. I think Putin was sleeping on the presidential race, but not for the rest of, like for instance, this particular run in Iowa.
Yeah, Putin's definitely had some alt-right trolls who 24/7, all they were doing was hyping this lady up, It's just it's really sad. It's dangerous. Republican voter fraud is dangerous.
She browses 4chan and Reddit and other alt-right hate spaces.
Well, look at her. She looks like a 4chan user.
Yeah, she looks like a fascist to me.
Look, it's just when you look at that face, there's like a smugness to it. Like she looks like she goes on like one of those 4chan boards and just posts mean photos of me and like says mean things. It's quite odd.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if she laughs at us, especially.
Yeah.
I'm honestly terrified of that smug white smile. It's disgusting. And I feel like just her doing that probably got a person of color locked up.
Yeah.
From her smiling.
Come on, close your mouth, Whitey.
This reminds me of the Nathan Phillips incident, where Nathan Phillips was almost, he nearly suffered severe mental trauma at the hands of that disgusting, smug, evil hate smile that young white person was doing.
Yeah, and of course there was a story we had a while back. It feels like years at this point, but it was only months. Of the news reporter who had his life utterly changed when Trump called him "my African American." Can you imagine such a life-changing event as just being completely dehumanized by an orange Cheeto?
It's just disgusting. I don't know why you didn't get locked up right then and there.
Yeah, it's disgusting that these things are, we're seeing these things so often. Like, do you guys hear that Trump is trying to go to the Supreme Court and get them to exclude undocumented immigrants from the census? Like, they're going to stop them from voting or something.
That's evil. That's pure evil. These undocumented Americans, they're just trying to live their lives. Like,
yeah.
What? I just don't understand.
Yeah, and they don't even have to pay taxes, but they still do.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they care so much about America that they're willing to be here despite the personal risk. Right? And I'm so glad that we're making, that people are calling him out for this. Because we should not exclude undocumented immigrants from the census. We need to, they need to be counted. Their votes need to be counted. It's like this sign says here, count us in 2020, And
we need to count every vote.
And you know what they did? They spent a long time counting those votes. How long did it take Nevada to count them? But they made sure they counted every single one of those votes. So, you know what, man? We did count you in 2020. And Joe Biden won. Have you guys seen, I don't even think this is in the document, but I'll just throw it up to you guys to know if you guys seen the clip of Biden saying "Mi casa es su casa." Have you guys seen that clip?
No, I haven't.
Yes, I think I have a while ago. I think it was a very kind of a nice touch he did to get in touch with
Yeah,
the
the
Latinx
Latinx
community.
This is a total bad idea, but I'm going to search Biden in the show document. Likely, there's going to be like 3 or 4 of these. But anyway, it was this great line where he just sort of he talked directly to the Latinx voter, and he made them feel understood in a way that almost no other person could do.
Look, this is almost as powerful as the time he played Despacito.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Despacito thing. In fact, that's even a better example. You know.
I mean, if there's anyone who understands the Latinx community, it's Joe Biden.
It's Joe Biden. And in a way, he is like Jesus. Because he came out of nowhere. You know, no one was expecting Jesus when Jesus showed up. You know, no one was like, oh my God, there's a Messiah coming, right? Like the Jews didn't think there was going to be a Messiah coming. That's why they're still Jewish, right? But
Yeah.
Jesus came and Joe Biden came. He just fell into our laps one day, and he's our savior. And but the one thing is, well, Jesus had the body of God. Joe Biden is but a mere mortal, and that scares me sometimes.
Wait. What if Jesus wasn't actually the Messiah? It was all a lie. What if the actual Messiah is Joe Biden?
I hope he's invincible, because otherwise he's a fragile man. You know, I mean, have you heard about this hairline fracture? You know, it was some incident with a dog. I don't know if it was like a pit bull or something, but yeah, he got a hairline fracture in an incident with a dog. It's just completely a crazy story. I mean, I was worried. Did you?
I mean, I cried a little when I heard the news. I thought this was some sort of assassination attempt.
I mean, is the dog? Is the FBI, in fact, in investigating the dog? I know there's been a lot of issues with Biden, getting the powers of the presidency as a president-elect, but he needs what is it, Secret Service clearance, so that we can get this dog investigated.
I mean, I did hear there were pictures in the past of that dog wearing a MAGA hat.
Is
which
that
is just disgusting?
This is like that whole racist dog thing, like the dog who ate the gay flag, like the homophobic dog. Or have you guys seen Hitler Dog, the dog who was trained to do a Hitler salute?
Pug.
Yeah, Hitler Pug.
Oh, they should put that dog down. Like
They
there's no excuse for a
They
dog being a
did
Hitler.
put the dog down.
Good. You shouldn't accept Nazism in any form,
Yeah.
or any form of fascism.
Well, I think it would have been better if they sent that dog off to maybe a re-education facility.
Yeah, we could send the dog to like a farm somewhere or something. I think that we were definitely seeing that's probably what's going to happen with this Joe Biden dog, because apparently this was like an inside agent. This might have been a Russian sleeper. I mean, they train a lot of these dogs in like monasteries and stuff, like Tibet, not Tibetan, not Chinese monasteries. So it's who knows what this dog has gotten up to, before it sort of hit the public eye. One of the things that I think. Never mind. Go ahead.
I honestly have to wonder though: is Joe Biden invincible? I mean, this is the only injury I've ever heard of him having, and Achilles, he was invincible except for his ankle.
That's an interesting idea. So you're saying we might be able to? This might be like some sort of a sign, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, a good sign, obviously. He's untouchable. He's invincible, except for that one ankle this one time.
This one, yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
We should call him like Joseph, maybe.
Joseph's? I'm gonna write that down.
Joseph. So instead of Jesus, Joseph.
Yeah, I got it. I think one of the things that he's doing that's like Jesus is he's realizing the importance of the female influence. I mean, Jesus had Mary Magdalene. Joe Biden has his entire communications team. He has an entirely female communication team, and I just think that's such a powerful thing.
Didn't
And I wanna
also
point out-
Joe Biden get trans people involved in his team?
No, I don't think there was any trans. That's the only problem. What did you want to point out?
Well, I mean, you gotta give the guy some credit. Progress takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day. This is the first ever fully female White House communications team.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point, and I'm glad that you grounded us there. Because, you know, me and Nev were dreamers. Often we're thinking about the next thing. We're thinking about, you know, what about the trans people? What about the black people? But you're right. Let's break one glass ceiling at a time, guys.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. You know, Joe Biden's going to, you know, this term it's going to be an whole female communication staff. The next one it's going to be, you know, all trans or something. Like, we're taking baby steps towards progress here.
No, I do really think he should probably fire one within a week and put a trans person on it.
That's definitely a question. Is Biden doing enough? Right? And it's a hard question to ask because, you know, we've spent this entire election, you know, in the engine room of the Biden train trying to push this thing forward. But we crossed the finish line. So we got to start asking what's next. And sometimes what's next is a difficult question because it makes you sort of think about your own ideals in a weird way that we're not always ready to do. But, you know, we got to remember the future is female, guys. And I'm just glad that we're even, you know, we're even seeing some Republican women who are standing up against Trump and are showing that, you know, in time, maybe the Republican Party will just be the Democratic Party, but with a different name. Right? Like, isn't that the hope?
I mean, who doesn't want that?
That they can be, you know, like absorbed all these different ideas, so that, you know, so there's more, everything's a little more homogeneous.
I mean, it's definitely a step in the right direction, but I still, even to consider yourself GOP, I feel like you should be put in a re-education camp immediately.
No, I mean, certainly these women need re-education. We're not saying that they're ready to re-enter society as a whole. But I think it's a step, right? And that's what we need to talk about right now during this transition.
It shows they're receptive to re-education.
Exactly. It shows they're receptive to re-education, which is important. And, you know, that's one of the things, a lot of our viewers, I know a lot of our viewers are still deeply big. I mean, I know a lot of our viewers will still say the BR word and will still use slurs. But what I care about is that I see that
it's people like Peter, Eric, Stanley, those kind of
call them
fascists
out.
And bigots we get.
Call them out. And it's one of those things, I know that they still have problems, but I know they're trying to work through those problems. I know Stanley's still young. He's trying to figure out his life. And this is what these Republican women are doing, you know, is they're showing that they can improve and they're starting to make some steps towards it. And I'm happy for it. And I think that one of the things 2020 is doing is it's giving people an opportunity to reassess everything that we thought was just like a default. Like, you know, everybody used to think Black Friday, it's this horrible event where everybody tramples each other, but we'll never end it. You know, this is a year where we finally maybe realized for the first time, in fact, that maybe shopping online is easier than shopping in stores. Right? I mean, has anyone ever... Black Friday had been such a staple until this year. The coronavirus.
Can we call it POC Friday?
Yeah, we can call it POC Friday, or you know.
Thank you. That was triggering me.
I apologize. You know, so you know, POC Friday is I think it's one of those things that we're going to move past it as a nation, and I think we can really see it evolve. One of the interesting ideas I saw floated around some of the BLM groups that I follow is maybe POC Friday is only a discount for POC people. Right? Like it's some form of reparations, evening of the field, affirmative action, whatever you want to call it.
You could even remove the taxes only for minorities and POCs.
Exactly. I think that, you know, like a tax-free day. And I think it could change from being this thing that's a deeply racist holiday that, you know, a holiday that celebrates corporations preying on poor people, and something where we celebrate POCs and, you know, we give them a break that they so desperately deserve. And obviously, I think one of the reasons that we see Black Friday be so racist is obviously its ties to Thanksgiving, which we're going to get to a little later in the show. But I got to ask before we even move forward, did you guys do anything for Thanksgiving, or did you follow orders and stay locked down inside your various abodes?
I personally celebrated my Indigenous People Day by having a bottle of wine shipped to my house and just donating to Indigenous people, like donating my time, obviously, not my money. I don't do that.
That's beautiful. I mean, that's It's such an amazing celebration of such a horrible, ravaging of people. Well, what are your thoughts, Nev? Did you do anything for Indigenous People Day?
I just want to say that that's incredibly empowering, Uni. I think everyone should be doing that.
Oh,
But myself, I went out into my back garden. I invited over a couple of journalists, obviously not breaking any rules or anything, social distancing,
well,
wearing
you haven't
masks. So we
taken
just
that
sent
mask
out.
off in a long time, Nev.
No, I haven't taken this mask off since the outbreak, really. But I'm used to it. I think everyone should do what I'm doing. But I sat out in the back garden with my journalist comrades. We all sat 2 meters apart, and we sent out smoke signals. That's basically saying "fuck Trump," power to POCs, all that kind of stuff, and basically is as a solidarity for Indigenous people, saying we are with you, we hear you.
Yeah, yeah, we're here. We're with you. We're here. That's awesome. Everybody's kind of in a holding pattern right now with the whole coronavirus thing. You guys heard about coronavirus?
Trump virus.
Trump virus. You guys heard about this virus going around? So they recently, Dr. Fauci, was just sort of the big wig on this whole Trump virus thing. It's saying that apparently we could be reaching some sort of state of a quote unquote, and I'm just going to use the word, but then I'm going to explain why it's a bad word, but a herd immunity. And just it could be as soon as the summer of 2021. Do you guys think that this is feasible, or is Fauci sort of speaking out of his butt here? What are the thoughts?
I mean, I definitely think he's speaking out of his butt. We need hard lockdowns, and we need them for the years to come.
Yes, like I don't know why anybody would want to see an end to this sort of staycation, right? And I don't know why people are.
I mean, it sounds like Fauci's trying to enact genocide here by making people go outside again.
No, really, in a weird way. Like, we've come to the state where literally, if you breathe, you could be killing somebody. So yeah, we need to stay indoors forever or whatever. And I got to say, the whole herd immunity thing, I'm starting to think more and more that herd immunity is a racist term. Herd.
I had a visceral reaction to it.
It really it's like chattel. Like, am I chattel? Are you telling me that I'm an animal, that I'm in a herd of people? Like, come on, we're not a herd of people. Can we think what's a better term than that we can use? Like a more progressive term.
I mean, we're journalists. We're not like the other lowly peasants.
Yeah, like group immunity.
Group immunity of inclusion.
Ooh, inclusive immunity.
That's a good one.
What about inclusive immunity? Okay, I think we'll still work on that a little bit. But I think we're really onto something. We talked a little earlier in the show the whole Thanksgiving thing, but as much as we did the right thing and are morally better for it, as much as we stayed home or we had little backyard gatherings with smoke signals, a lot of people didn't. There was a lot of travel over Thanksgiving, and it just people are perpetuating this clearly racist holiday. And I just don't know how we can stand for it anymore. I feel like these people need to be punished. Do you think we could ever see something like the California sort of Thanksgiving guidelines become national and become like hard law?
I think we can.
And if people at home who don't know, the California guidelines were these amazing edicts that were released, and I think they're really beautiful pieces of legislation. That gave you families guidelines, telling them, don't sing too much, don't gather with other family members, don't laugh, stay outside, only gather for an hour and a half. All these really important guidelines, these edicts.
I think people really kind of downplay the effects laughing can have.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm someone who gets very much so kind of jumpy and a bit triggered and can suffer horrific overloads if I have like horrific laughter.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I mean, and this might just be the start of let's get rid of all of these dumb holidays that are scary. 4th of July has always been bad. We can get rid of that racist holiday. I mean, what other holidays can we get rid of that are racist?
Can we get rid of Christmas? Christmas is the worst offender.
It really is.
I've already come to the conclusion that we should stop celebrating Christmas. Like, what's there to celebrate? Let's not
Nothing.
make a big deal out of it. Like, let's just, everybody should just sort of float along throughout the year without any sort of big milestone events to keep them grounded. Because I think
Well, I think we should maybe
completely
give
agree.
PLC some help. Maybe make Kwanzaa or Eid perhaps the national holiday.
yeah, we could blow up Kwanzaa. What was the other one?
Like Eid or Ramadan
Oh, I haven't really
or
heard much.
Diwali or something
I haven't
like
heard
that.
much about Eid. Could you explain a little more?
Oh, so Eid is an Islamic festival.
Oh, okay. We got to get Ahmed on here, right? Your buddy Ahmed on here.
Yeah, we'll inquire with Ahmed about that.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get him on the next show. For everybody who doesn't know, we're obviously doing a little bit of a different format, more guests. So we're looking to anybody you guys have to suggest here. You know, a lot of people made the wrong decision here with Thanksgiving. We saw a spike in cases from these gathering, and it's as bad. Berkshire is saying that if you went to a family gathering, already just assume you're infected. Like at this point, the facts don't matter. You just have to assume you're infected.
I honestly kind of wonder if we should maybe lock all these people up that have done this. I mean, they're at
It's
least
attempted murder.
going to be, yeah, they're at least going to be killing. How many other people did they come in contact with afterwards?
These people are serial killers.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. If you go outside, you're a murderer and you're a monster. And you
These people are worse than like Ted Bundy or people like that.
I mean, the numbers don't lie. 200 million people or whatever, 200,000 people. It's just
No, I don't know. I heard 120 million. I'm pretty sure Biden said that.
Yeah, it's hard. But the problem is the numbers are hard to track, right? Because
They
obviously
keep changing too.
they keep changing because we're the government isn't given the oversight it needs. The
I
government.
mean, I won't be surprised right now if like half of America has been wiped out and we don't even know it.
We it really could be like that because do you know who we're getting all these statistics from about the traveling? We're getting it from AAA. Like, how do we know the AAA doesn't have a vested interest in making sure we keep traveling and keeping case numbers down that we see, the case numbers that we see down, and contract tracing? This is why we need government oversight because the government can ensure that everything's going to turn out okay, and they can, do it. Do the government's job, which is to keep us safe and to keep everything controlled.
Yeah, I don't honestly see why we couldn't get some sort of system set up, like a breathalyzer for your house, but
Yeah.
instead of a breathalyzer, it's your temperature.
Exactly.
You're not allowed to go out if you have a fever.
I think exactly. And people should just accept this broad government oversight and this broad government control because it's, what is 100? It's like Joe Biden's thing where he wants us to wear a mask for 100 days. What's 100 days under lockdown? You could make 100 days under lockdown. It's easy. It's like anything else.
But I've been wearing this mask now for well over 100 days. I mean, if I can do it, so can everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, and people in places like China, which is a great nation, by the way. I love China. People in places like China have been wearing masks for long before this, and they turned out all right. I mean, they were a great nation. Like there's nothing wrong with these restrictions becoming permanent. I think they all they do is help us.
I mean, you'd be
Yeah,
crazy or insane to go against these common sense restrictions.
No.
Maybe we should, instead of putting these people in prison who have just completely not given a crap about other people's lives, maybe we should take a look at a China's playbook where they took people like that and they barred them into their own homes.
Yeah, exactly. Have everybody have like an ankle monitor or something. I think that there's a lot of room for some better regulation.
I think we should make people who are breaking, maybe make them wear some special badge or something, just so we know that they're bad people who break the rules.
Yeah, it's like AOC said. Take down the name of every Trump supporter because we're going to need these lists for later. I think that's a quote, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
yeah,
she
I
even
mean, it's
used
a
the
common
term
sense idea.
sycophants.
Did she use sycophants? That's great. That's a $5 word right there. AOC is such a sharp tack. But, I really appreciate you coming on here, Uni. Where can people check out your stuff?
Well, I've got a YouTube channel and a Twitch channel. You just look up Univarseman and you'll find me.
Yeah, it's surprisingly refreshing stuff. You don't see many disembodied heads, represented in the media. So I'm so glad that we get at least one good one.
And I love being on this show. If you ever need me on, feel free to ask.
We appreciate having you on. We're gonna come here.
Pleasure having here, Uni.
We're gonna come back in a little while with Lawyer Andy in the legal advice section, but we'll see you there. Thank you all for watching this part. Stay black. Welcome to the Andy's Legal Advice, or the Andy's Legal Corner. Thanks Andy, for joining us. We really appreciate you giving us your time.
My
Welcome,
pleasure.
Andy.
Yeah, normally I would charge for my legal advice, but in this case, I'll do it for free just because I believe in freedom of knowledge and just free stuff in general, and I know you guys do too. So.
Yeah, it's a powerful thing. It's really a powerful thing that we're all able to get together, around the fire here and discuss these issues. Now, the first one here is one actually kind of close to you. And I got to ask, have you been to this pillar? The mysterious pillar in California. Have you heard about this? This is like
I saw that like mirror thing. Or...
Yeah, it's like a mirror monolith. We discussed this earlier in the show with Univarseman, who Univarseman is a disembodied head, so there's a lot of spirituality there. But I got to ask, you're really close to you're in California, so have you visited this monolith? Have you seen it in person? At all?
Not really. I was trying to. I was driving over there, and then it turned out that they pulled it out. Somebody grabbed it.
Somebody moved it. Yeah. Well, I gotta.
So, I don't know what's up with that.
Is there any kind of connection you think to some of those some of the missing Joe Biden ballots? Because I know that it was recently found out that apparently Joe Biden was going to win by much more, but like the Republicans were stealing stuff, or there was something like fake ballot boxes the Republicans were putting out. I don't remember the whole story there in California.
Okay.
Talked about this on the show before. Yeah. So I'm not sure if this is related to that. It definitely seemed to be tied to Joe Biden in some way.
I've heard stories as well, like vans delivering mail-in ballots. Apparently, they went missing. Republicans could have had something to do with that.
Yeah, that's really scary. I worked with the DNC and at a voting booth facility, and there was definitely some votes that were missing. And California's turnout, it was blue this time. It was a lot less blue than I had hoped.
Yeah, I mean, the data shows that it's impossible that California wasn't even more blue.
Yeah,
like it really
should have been all blue.
Exactly, it makes you think that there was some fraud that California wasn't all blue.
Right.
And obviously there were people who there was collusion in this election. Can we agree on this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And then you have like the bipartisan stance saying, "Oh, there's collusion on both sides." Well, okay, it's significantly more on the
Republican side. Yeah, exactly. It's like why would if you guys don't know about this, Joe Biden's Wikipedia page was filled with troll information. Like who would have done this except for the Russians? Like you never see this happen to any of Trump's social media stuff. You never see Trump's social media stuff get taken down or get attacked.
Right.
This is just what sort of repercussions could this prankster face? From a legal perspective here, Andy.
I think we need to figure out. Well, first of all, we need to figure out whoever stole the monument and then sue them, and that might be our lead.
Okay.
And then from there we can figure stuff out. But I think we just need to track down that monument first.
So you're thinking that
might be the key to this whole thing.
You're thinking you're thinking the monument is like the keystone here, as in everything ties down to this monument that was stolen from Utah.
Yeah, in a way, it's like a blurry reflection of what's going on in real life, and like quite literally, it also is a blurry reflection of real life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So this monument is more.
Do you want to know what the people? Do you want to know what the people who said? Do you want to know what the people said when they took away the monument? They said, "Leave no trace." What does that even mean? That sounds like a Russian thing. Is that like a Russian code phrase?
That sounds like a voter bot thing, like a leave no trace that you're botting votes.
Oh.
It's like the whole no Russian thing that was spread around a while back.
Oh, that's from Modern Warfare 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely some. I think so. I'm not sure. I've just heard it spread around by online cyber fascists every now and again.
Oh, interesting.
So the right wingers are saying no Russian, or the left leaning liberal.
I think no. I think it's the right that's saying.
Right. Well, it's probably like a dog whistle, right?
Yeah, I'm
which
thinking
is
it's some sort of code word.
Yeah, it probably means like no Israeli or something like that, which is stupid.
Yeah.
I have Israeli family. I mean, I have the family.
Yeah.
Flag right there.
Show it up to Israeli.
Yeah, exactly. There it is. I didn't even talk about my shirt. If you guys want to have a
sure, let's hear about this.
So this is
I love Daddy.
Yeah, this is so. After I volunteered my time at the DNC and watching the polls and stuff, they gave everybody free Biden shirts, and so this is one that I got. So this
Oh,
is in
I
support
was a
of
bit
Biden.
worried then. It looked like gendered language, but if it's for Biden, it's okay. He gets a
It's his
pass.
nickname. It's his nickname, so that's why I live
Daddy
with it.
Biden. I'm glad. I'm glad that we're able to learn about Daddy Biden. And I got to ask this, Andy, because it's in the document, and I know that I hate to ask you questions that are so simple. With a legal expert like you, this is going to knock this one out of the park. There was no fraud, right? Like clearly there was no fraud.
Where was it? I haven't seen any. Nobody has seen any, except for coming from the right-leaning parties.
Exactly.
But like, where?
Do people
It's
need
like
more
that.
than that?
I've seen these ridiculous graphs and all these weird coincidences they keep pointing out, but it's nonsense. I mean,
Yeah.
so what if a graph goes up vertically? I mean, I just don't understand what's the problem there.
Yeah.
What's wrong about
Yeah,
that?
here's some more food for thought. All the time, they're wasting on looking for fraud. They could be using that time to save the environment, save on gas, make racial amends with everyone around them. But no, they choose to divide. Wow. And I would say divide and conquer, but they're not doing any conquering right now. They just lost. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. let's look to the future here, because the future seems to be the only thing hopeful in these dark COVID times. We got Joe Biden, and Joe Biden says that his first 100 days of office, he's going to make sure every American wears a mask 24/7. What do you think about this?
Oh, I'm all for that. I've been into mask wearing for a long time, so
Yeah,
I don't see why.
We obviously we do have a mask expert here. Obviously, we have Nev, who hasn't taken his mask off since this whole coronavirus thing started.
Yeah, since March, I haven't taken this off.
In fact, you were wearing a mask in February,
Wow.
weren't you?
I think I was, actually. I mean, I might as well just staple it to my ears at this point.
Yeah, it's really, we really got. I like it because it shows support for all of those, all those essential workers who have to wear a mask at like Safeway and stuff. Like it shows
Yeah, I
support for
mean-
those essential workers.
When I do take this off, I don't breathe. So I wear it constantly. I wear it in bed, in the shower, everywhere. I don't take it off.
Yeah,
Nice.
and
So how do you clean?
Well, I've been very fortunate that when this thing happened, I bought a huge amount that could possibly last a couple of years of all these masks. So I've just been kind of cycling through every now and again.
Now,
Wow.
I got to ask you here, Andy. I don't know how much you know about constitutional law here, so this might be an
Yeah.
off-base question, but tell me what you think. Is a mask mandate something that can be covered by an executive order? So basically,
Okay,
can
so-
Biden just make this so?
Yeah, so if it's a Trump executive order, I would say no, just given the nature of his old administration. But with the Biden and Harris administration, certainly yes.
And could we see,
Um,
in a similar vein, could we see an expansion of the Supreme Court to make it more inclusive?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the first step is to expand the Supreme Court. So that way, we're more likely to get a ruling that allows us to do a mandatory mask implement into U.S. society. So certainly, yeah, that can definitely happen.
That's something we need to look at. Okay. Yeah. I think obviously mask mandatory 100%. There's a few other ones that I think we should sort of everybody make sure they tweet these to Joe Biden so we get him get these in his ears. Recently there was a New York club that was shut down for hosting a 400-person party. I think this executive order, executive order COVID, should definitely include some sort of mandates about no gathering of any kind, unless BLM or whatever. But I think that's something we can really expand in these sort of mandates.
Yeah, and then the other thing is like, who's going to these parties? Do we know if these people have taken the vaccine? I say people who have vaccinated themselves should be allowed to party.
Yeah.
Celebrate that you took a vaccine.
Yeah,
It's actually genius.
Exactly. It's
It's
like
I was going to quickly say, I spoke about this earlier. It's like people who haven't taken the vaccine, we need to label them out to society, make them wear like some sort of badge or
Right.
something like that. Just so we
Yeah.
know that they are bad people, and everyone should know that they are bad
Yeah,
people.
just so we need to point out who the non-conformists are in society, because these are the people dragging everybody else down.
exactly like we're just
Like, if you're not going to
Yeah.
buy the path that society lays out for you, then like, why should we allow you to operate with everybody else who has done everything to all the preventative measures.
It's like these people I saw during the election, and these people just kept on pushing against the Blue Nami. I told them the Blue Nami's coming. Joe Biden's going to win, and they're like, no, Joe Biden's not going to win. Guess what, guys? You kept on pushing against the Blue Nami, you lost. So don't push against this Blue Nami. Just wear your mask and listen. It's that simple.
I've been telling him for years that Biden's coming, and he came hard.
Yeah.
Like, I've been thinking about this. I mean, I don't even think Barack Obama was that popular. I think Barack Obama he won because of Biden.
Biden definitely had something to do with it. I mean, Biden was vice president at the time. That is a fact, and no one can take that away from Biden. That was a fact.
Most people want Biden over Obama too.
Oh yeah, a lot. People always will say Biden is charismatic, and people don't really speak that way about Obama. At least not in the same way. I don't think.
Yeah.
I got to ask here, have you guys heard about the possibility that Trump might be trying to pardon his kids? Like, is this even legal, Andy? Are you allowed to pardon your kids?
For pardon them of what?
Whatever, all the stuff they did during, like, obviously Eric and Ivanka Trump, all of them are criminals, like, right? They should all be going to prison.
I was thinking about, like, Barron. I was like, well, that little kid.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he did something, right? I mean, he's a Trump kid.
Yeah, he's like the hacking type. I mean, I wouldn't pardon that kid ever, but I don't know about the other ones. They're all corrupt. They're all Trumps.
Are we able to, is there a possible push to maybe impeach Trump again? Is that something that can be done?
I mean, it's such an exhausting move at this point. We did it like 2 times, and then where did that get us?
Yeah.
I mean, it got us somewhere. At least Biden's president now, but it's just like it was such a crazy effort. Like, I don't even see it being worth it.
Yeah. And the next thing I'm going to say is a little conspiratorial. So, like, if you're not into conspiratorial stuff, you can turn off your headphones now or whatever. But there has been some talk that apparently there are some Brazilian illegitimate children of Donald Trump who may be related to Hitler in some way.
Wow.
There's been some chemical studies. Yeah, please tell us.
Yeah, I'm an Israeli Brazilian, so I can say this. I'm a master in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Those kids are not his. He definitely doesn't have Brazilian blood in him. He looks nothing like me or anybody else within my immediate family.
I'm really glad you were able to clear that up for us, because that was something that was terrifying me.
Wow, that's really scary.
Yeah, I'm really glad you were able to sort of push that through for us. And I
imagine finding out that you're related to not only Trump but Hitler also.
It would be pretty bad to be a double feature.
Right there. Yeah, I wouldn't even know what to do at that point.
Yeah, well, what can you do? What can you do? The only thing I could say that you can do really is stay home. Whatever you do, the most important thing is that you stay home. And Gavin Newsom, the amazing mayor of California, or is he governor of California? What is it?
He's like I forget. He's like a leader. He's like this.
Whatever, the leader of California. Gavin Newsom.
He's like the head honcho of California.
Yeah, big guy. Master. The leader of California, Gavin Newsom, is sort of pushing for these new stay-at-home orders, and I think these are awesome. I saw the
for them, and they were quite laid out.
And I'd like to thank the Sacramento Bee for bringing us this news. Buzz. I'm always glad to have a fellow Bee on here. I think that we can see an expansion of the Thanksgiving policy to just every gathering. You heard about the Thanksgiving policy, right? Right there, Andy. Where Gavin Newsom was saying no singing, no chanting, no laughing.
Yeah, all like the vocal stuff, because like you don't want to spread the
virus.
The germ.
Yeah. It's a totally it's totally logical stuff here. This is really basic stuff. If you don't follow this stuff, you're an idiot. It's really that simple.
You're actually dumb. And then, like, have you noticed that the only people who don't follow this stuff are right-leaning conservative?
Yeah, like Trumpies.
You ever see like a graph of like who's going to college and who's not going to college? I rest my case.
Yeah, there's definitely an IQ gap, right, between like the total like the titans of journalism, like you and I and Nev, and
Yeah.
some of these low IQ Trump supporters like Stanley.
Yeah, at least have like at least like
I like it's in the high 200s, or it's like in the 200s. I haven't done the test in a while. I did one on online at some point, and I forget my score, but it was really high. It was like in the 200s.
I got
am one-
161
like
weeks.
100,
that's like really nice. So.
106,
I got-
160. I thought it would be
and
more
then
than that.
I did the test a week later, and then I got 162.
Gee, well that's
So
improvement.
I think I'm getting smarter every month.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what staying at home will do to you. You know, it gives you so much time for introspection, and it gives you time to really work on your IQ, raise it.
I mean, I only had to ask Google for help like 3 times. I mean, I think I'm getting to a point now where I'm just so much smarter than everyone else.
What it
Most of those give you like the 3 like lifelines too, so it's okay that you ask those questions because they usually
Exactly.
give you like
Yeah.
phone a friend.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, I
50%
did.
right-
I did
yeah,
have to phone a friend actually. I asked Lindsay for help in one of the questions. I was a
Yeah.
bit stuck on.
Of
Does
course.
she know the answer?
Yeah, ask the audience.
Well, it was a maths question, and Lindsay believes that maths is racist, so I just kind of skipped that question.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
That's understandable.
yeah.
You know, Nev, I got to ask you about this one. And I always have to ask you because, you know, you're a guy in England, and I know you're a citizen of the world and all that. But
Well, did you just call me a guy?
Yeah,
I don't
I-
mean guy. I mean like representative in
You mean
England.
Zer?
Zer in England.
Person.
Yeah.
You're our England czar here. So can you tell us here, what does it mean when they say the Brexit trade talks are in their last legs? You know, with a no-deal deadline just weeks away. Well, I mean, what's the timeline for this?
Well, I've not really kept up with Brexit because it scares me. So I don't really like trade either. I don't like any of this. I'm a journalist. I report on social justice issues. But what we need to know is that this is evil, and everyone right now should be protesting this in the streets.
Yeah,
In masses. I'm talking like 400 people, 500 people, just marching down the streets, telling Bojo the Clown that we will not tolerate fascist takeovers anymore.
I think I heard some protesting earlier today
Yeah.
in Boston. You know, just against the Brexit trade deal. I don't know if that's exactly what they were protesting about. I just heard screaming, but I can, you know, surmise based on the you know, this article that just came out on CNBC that everybody's eyes is on Brexit right now. There's definitely not, you know, no one's being distracted from such an important deadline here that we're about to hit.
You know, the great thing about doing these protests too is that everybody wears a mask.
Everybody wears a mask. Yeah, exactly. Like, and they've been wearing a mask since before COVID. Like, that's how much
Yeah.
forethought. Like,
Yeah,
come
yeah.
on, intelligent design. It's almost like
And
BLM was made to
innovative
exist.
Organizations,
Yeah.
definitely. They're the most innovative.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's just seeing how well everybody can wear a mask. And
it's awesome.
I mean, there's multiple purposes.
There's been.
Yeah,
I got to
it really
ask you
is.
about this. I know I know you have a line where you can talk to Double O because it's very elusive, hard to get Double O for an interview. Has Double O been
Yeah.
at any of these LA protests that we've been seeing recently?
So, not that I know of. I know 002 is at. He's at Oregon up there protesting. One, I don't know. He was doing like the call-in thing for a while during while Biden was running for president, and it seemed to have worked because Biden became president. So it seemed like he called enough people in order to ensure that they'd vote for Joe Biden. He's giving them all these strategies.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, we should get a medal for that.
It's
That's
just
a real
something.
hero.
Yeah, like he's saying stuff like just in case your siblings are sick, just to like kind of like help them out and fill out their mail-in voting ballot for them, like stuff like that. So yeah, who knows? Maybe 001 actually swung it in Biden's favor.
Are we going to see an Antifa victory tour following Biden's victory? You know, once Trump actually finally gets out of office.
Yeah, I don't know, but it would be cool to see like that sort of thing happen. Like maybe Antifa visits the White House for the day and has dinner with the Joe Biden.
Yeah, like, you know, obviously
I mean-
we had our ice cream with Joe Biden. That was a big deal. We weren't able to film that though. Apparently, they don't allow cameras at these events. I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was weird.
Getting to meet Joe Biden in public, like in person, was I almost fainted. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I stopped my recording because I was all shaky. Like I was just like really nervous and.
Yeah, it was a weird thing. I went into the room recording, but at some point, like somebody took my phone and they deleted the recording off my phone. I'm not sure why. It was really weird. And
Yeah, they did that to me as well.
parts
I'm
of
not
the
sure
parts
why.
of the night were a little bit hazy, but overall, it was a really great experience. And I'll have ice cream with Joe Biden anytime. You know, it's all they have to do is ask.
Yeah,
That's an open offer.
He loves
I mean,
ice cream, and I like ice cream too, and we both like it. So
Yeah.
I mean, I was so nervous. I even peed my pants a little.
Yeah.
Who doesn't pee their pants around Joe Biden? You know, the other thing, I'm worried about a few things still. On one end, I'm just ecstatic, very happy that Joe Biden got in, but on the other end, it seems like we might face some struggles with the Republicans taking control of the Senate. I mean, earlier in the show, we talked about a Republican senator from Iowa who won with just 6 votes. I mean, this is such a close election, and yet it's such an important election. So what?
sounds
Andy,
like
do you-
some siblings voting for the
Yeah.
opposing party.
Andy, do you believe there was fraud in that case? I mean, only 6 votes. Do you think that's something to be
Yep.
investigated?
They knew exactly how many votes they needed, and they went a little overboard with it. So now it looks totally not subtle.
Yeah.
They totally knew like how many votes they needed.
And can you,
If
Andy,
it's all,
you got to tell me this. What can we do as concerned Americans when we see such blatant Republican voter fraud? How do we react?
point it out. Make sure we need to start up like a new organization because Project Veritas sure as heck doesn't report on the real fraud. They report on their own
Yeah,
slanted fraud.
Project Veritas. It seems like it's been corrupted. It's been infiltrated. I don't know.
Garbage. It's garbage network. It's worse than Fox News at this point.
It
At
really
least
is.
Fox News will even admit that there isn't voting fraud coming from us.
Yeah, I'm glad.
So, yeah, Veritas on the other hand, they talk about they have all these like fake recordings. They have fake alibis. Someone from the CIA or not CIA, it was like somebody from it was like a federal thing, maybe federal
FBI
investigation.
or something.
Yeah, they came in and tried to help the guy and clear his head and try to actually remember what was going on.
I'm glad.
So that was a good thing that they did.
It's really
So
awesome that the FBI is willing to sort of take such such specific concerns with people's problems and actually help them. You know.
Yeah, that's good.
And
That's what the FBI is, just to like straighten out all these problems that we have.
One of the things that I really enjoy that I've seen recently is Facebook is showing support for this new control. You know, they're banning people. You know, these debunked claims about the COVID-19 vaccine. And I just think that's awesome that we're able to have so much more control over language and over communication. It's going to be great in 10 years time. We won't even have to worry about bad actors.
Don't use the word control. That makes us seem a bit, authoritarian. Think of it more as guidance.
Guidance. These are guidelines, of course.
It's like we're
And,
helping
also-
here.
Also, I don't think the world has been in a better place since fact checkers have been introduced to social media. I think that's probably the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Fact checkers.
I mean,
Integrated fact check. Snopes. All I know is Snopes, but they're really good.
Yeah, I think Joe Biden we should have a state sponsored Snopes. We could just sponsor Snopes, right? You got Joe Biden behind Snopes.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Or like have our own version of Snopes and maybe get in on start helping them out.
Yeah.
Even Snopes is wrong
So
some of the times.
Yeah, exactly. Every now and then you'll get Snopes being wrong, but it's hard to track that, because it happens so infrequently.
Its own
But,
branch of fact checkers as well.
We got to thank the fact checkers, but I also want to thank you for coming on here, Andy. It's really awesome to have some legal advice. It's something that we need now because the world's become so political and legal. But thank you for coming on.
The pleasure is mine, Norm. It's always wonderful to
Great
be able
having
to
you,
help
Andy.
out with,
Yeah.
the legal stuff. I know it's confusing and cloudy sometimes, and so I like being here to just kind of clear what's going on.
Yeah. And
So I think we definitely did that today.
we definitely figured something out. And is there anywhere people can find your work, or are you still sort of floating around?
I'm off Twitter and I'm on Parler right now, but I'm not doing much on Parler. But
Isn't there
I'll make a comeback.
Isn't there an Andy.jlgbtq or something like that with all your links
Oh
on
yeah,
it?
you can use that website to find my other
Yeah,
social
and
media
that'll
pages. I have
be
a
in the
YouTube
description
channel.
below for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to see, I got my work resume on there too. If you doubt my credibility, you can check my
Yeah,
credentials
oh,
and
exactly.
whatnot.
You know, there's going to be a lot of doubters. I know Eric's going to come in here and say, Lawyer Andy isn't bar certified. Go to
Right.
Lawyer Andy's MySpace page. You'll see everything you need to know.
On there. It's literally on my MySpace, and yeah, I don't know why there's so many haters and stupid.
Well, it's in the words of the rap community, haters gonna hate.
Right.
Those-
Yeah, and I should release maybe like a SoundCloud track or something about that too.
yeah,
That
diss
might be
them.
the next bit.
A diss track on the haters. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching this part. We're gonna come back here with the Trump watch and close out the show. We'll see you there. Welcome to the Trump watch. We hate doing this segment. We really wanted to end it, but the script just didn't feel right without the Trump watch, so we left it in
I'll
here.
be honest, I did cry for a little bit before doing this. I mean, it's got to put, but just hearing his name, it shatters my soul.
Yeah, we had to work towards this. You know, one thing is people don't understand is that people are totally entrenched, engrossed even in this Trump universe. I mean, have you guys heard of Trump TV, Nev? There's literally
Excuse me. There's a television thing for this fashion.
it's essentially. I mean, it's like it's a bunch of channels. So it's like you know, Trump TV stands for like Fox News and like all
Oh,
of these
no.
very like Fox
No.
and Friends. You know, the Good Morning America, The View. Trump TV is it's just it's gorgy, it's bingy, it's this awful, gross like amalgamation of Americana, and you know the person who sold Trump TV did it because he knew Trump supporters were dumb. He knew he thinks you're just dumb enough to buy it. It's this gross company that's trying to form, and I'm worried it's going to work. If I'm being honest with you, Nev, I'm worried it's going to work.
Well, what we need to focus on is assembling a small legion of fact checkers and approved journalists so that we can be sure to continuously fact check and assess the lies that this network will obviously spew out.
I'm going to tell you this: if Trump Watch, you know, if Trump TV goes live, Trump Watch is never stopping. The Trump Watch never stops.
Trump Watch never stops.
We're going to keep Trump accountable, including Trump TV. We're going to watch I'm going to watch every Trump TV channel. You know?
I don't know if I can sit through it now. I don't want to be traumatized by the end of it.
It's hard, and that's what this election feels like in a lot of ways. Like I feel like I've already reached my emotional peak. Yet each day it just keeps on getting stacked on top of each other. I mean, Trump just keeps on squirming. We get people, you know, from Purdue, you know, real smart people like Loeffler, you know, saying great stuff like this election rhetoric is dumb. We all know that you lost, and somehow he just keeps on talking. Why won't Trump stop talking, Nev?
It's like he's refusing to concede. So, in my eyes, this is just a fascist coup.
Yeah, and this is
all it is.
It's dangerous too. Like I don't want to you know, attempt to make light of this. I think this is a deeply dangerous situation that we find ourselves in. I mean,
I'm pretty sure Hitler tried something like this.
Yeah, exactly. This is a dangerous situation for American democracy. You know, we stand at the precipice of what could be the destruction of our nation, and the only person who stands to save us is Joe Biden. And what are we doing? You know, we have people screaming fraud, calling Joe Biden a false prophet, whatever. But they don't understand. You're literally, if you're voting for Trump, you're voting for the Antichrist.
Exactly. I mean, you're essentially voting for something even worse than Satan, probably.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a spiritual battle at this point. Like the point at which, you know, this was political up until, you know, 3 weeks ago. Once Trump said he wasn't going to concede, and we saw the path we were going down, this stopped being political and this started being spiritual. This is spiritual warfare, and
it's like what Joe Biden said: the battle for the soul of the nation.
It's a battle for the soul of the nation, and we need all of our soldiers to be ready. That's why I'm calling out to you guys, our fans. If you are a fan of NNN News, I need you to find your chakra, to create a shrine and to focus your energy, because it's your spiritual energy which Joe Biden will need. Your spiritual energy and your donations Joe Biden will need to secure this election.
If you want an example, I did a video a while back where I did a little prayer for Joe Biden. I said happy birthday to him. So it's something like that. You might want to put a little candle up or something like that, a few pictures.
And it's
basically something you can use to channel your energy in.
And it's not like a weird thing. Like, people are always like, "Oh my God, he built an altar. He's so weird." But like,
I know they call me creepy and stuff like that. I mean, it's just rude.
Building an altar isn't even weird in 2020. Like, building an altar is just the way you dance nowadays. Like,
yeah, I mean, as a witch, you must have a lot of experience with altars.
Of course. I mean, have you guys ever seen Footloose, Nev?
Which one's that?
It's
a
movie
character.
It's a movie with Kevin Bacon where he grows up in a small town and he learns the importance of dance. And in a similar way, we're learning now the importance of spirituality and the importance of sort of the emotional dance, the spiritual dance, the path of the soul, being directed through the internet and being directed through these spiritual reliquaries which we create for ourselves. Towards Joe Biden, and it's the thing that's going to topple over Trump. And this is,
I mean, I've said this for a while now. I am absolutely in favor of a new journalist-approved religion.
Oh, for sure. This is the battle of good and evil. This is Cain Abel. This is classic stuff we're cutting into here. Also,
no, I don't appreciate Bible references. That's a hate book. We don't speak of hate books here.
I'm sorry. I'm just using it as a metaphor. I'm using it in metaphor. I apologize. I will say we are seeing, luckily, more and more spiritual warriors, who are taking the difficult journey from being Republican to being Democrat. I mean, this is a journey. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know if I've disclosed this here on the show, but yeah, I was a Republican at one point, and I'm being honest. This is masks off. This is the time to be honest. At one point, I was Republican, but I saw the light of Joe Biden. I saw the light of Obama. I mean, when I saw Joe Biden and Obama running, I knew I had to vote for Obama. It's that simple. And ever since I voted for Obama, once you go blue, it doesn't matter who, you're going to vote blue. I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. I'm in for Joe Biden. And I'm glad that we're going to see more and more Republicans like this, like the Arizona governor, who has become the latest sort of to go against Trump and to sort of show his open support for Joe Biden, this is a very powerful move. What do you think it is that's making these people feel safe enough to sort of come out like this now? Because this is a coming out in a lot of ways.
Well, if I like to think of the final days of World War II in 1946 or whenever it was, and you can imagine Hitler and his generals in the bunker. Some of them might, surrender, defect, run away, that kind of stuff that was seen. So yeah, it's essentially that. It's a sinking ship right now. There's people trying to jump, get on the raft, swim away, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, and what I'm always wondering when we see stuff like this is how can we simplify things? That's one of the biggest, people don't understand, one of the biggest jobs that we have as news people, news persons, as people of the media, is we need to simplify, these very complex issues and distill them down into, a few words that I can then give to you as a member of the public that you can consume. Because, when you really cut down to brass tacks, your general run-of-the-mill person's an idiot, and they fall for Trump's, firehouse of falsehoods. They watch Trump TV. They're tuned in. They don't realize that, the Antichrist will come to you as a lamb. The Antichrist will come to you saying he is Christ. What has God Emperor done except for make himself out to be Christ? Unlike Joe Biden, who has made absolutely no, mention of his Christly nature, but rather he just has it. It's grace. It's innate. It's not something that you can't fabricate grace, with somebody like Joe Biden. It's just natural. It's just that aura that you trust him. Like, tell me now, the first time you heard Joe Biden tell one of his amazing, campfire stories, were you not entranced?
I mean, when I first heard Joe Biden speak, I really thought I was gay for a moment.
Yeah.
I was really questioning my sexuality. I mean, it was a very odd time for me.
It's transcendent, and it's really one of those things where the first time I heard Joe Biden, I didn't know who Joe Biden was. I didn't have this concept of Joe Biden politician. All I heard
Yeah.
was this voice, this comforting male voice that I was just able to let it be my mind and let it just, like fully, it became entrenched in Joe Biden's voice for that moment, and it was transcendent. I mean,
Did I ever tell you the dream I had when I was a child, Norm?
no, let me hear it.
So when I was a child, I remember having a dream. This one stuck with me. I remember lying and just scared. I was surrounded by, I don't know why it was a wall. I know why now. And I could hear some horrible laughter. I'm pretty sure it was Trump's. And I remember just this figure coming down towards me from the sky, just with a heavenly voice. And I know now that the one who'd come to save me was Joe Biden. I just knew it. I could feel it in my soul. And now here I am, many years later, fighting for that man who saved me in the dream and set me down the path of journalism.
That's beautiful. I think that's what we have to close the show off on, man.